So, and lastly, I'd like to ask you, I mean, big free agent now on the market, I guess you would consider that, is Russell Wilson. We all knew that was coming to an end in Denver. Aside from what the Broncos paid for Russell Wilson, as far as not only the money, but also the draft capital they gave up to Seattle, he hits the street. I think he's got stuff left in the tank. Obviously, he did pretty well last year in the situation he was in. When you look at Russell Wilson, where do you see? I mean, listen, I counted off my list 8 or 9 teams who legitimately could use upgrade at quarterback. When you look at what Russell Wilson has to offer at this point in his career, and the fact that he can sign somewhere for, basically a pittance compared to what he would get on the open market a few years ago, how do you see that working out, and maybe some of the teams where he would be a good fit?
Yeah, it's nice when your former team is still paying your salary, right? That's always helps make the decision a little easier, right? I'll be curious to see. Kirk is obviously a fascinating situation to see end up back in Minnesota or Atlanta. I could see whoever doesn't get Cousins of those two would certainly be interested. The one that's sort of fascinated me that I've heard connected to him, and at first I wasn't sure, but Pittsburgh, that's a team that's been mentioned quite a bit. I'll be curious to see how they truly view Kenny Pickett, and whether Mason Rudolph's back in the mix. That too. I mean, Tennessee maybe I mean, they've said they like Will Levis, so I assume that's not a realistic landing spot, but the Raiders, especially with Garoppolo expected to be released, he could stay in the division and try to torment Sean Payton if he wants to. But yeah, I mean, New England, would that be a possibility? Maybe, I don't know. So it depends on, I think people can, obviously he can start now. That's the beauty of getting released, is you have your kind of head start on free agency. So I'll be curious to see if he gets something done quickly, or if the other teams kind of want to wait to see how some pieces fall elsewhere.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to me, too, because people, I think for a lot of fans who are watching us, they go from end of the season, okay, they pay attention to the combine, but then they're focused on the draft. But really what teams do in free agency during this period can really influence. So, yeah, if you're a team like Atlanta and you go get a Russell Wilson and you're not willing to trade up to get one of those top 3 or 4 quarterbacks that you may like, then suddenly it's a big deal. So I'm always fascinated. I love this time of the year in between the combine and the draft, because there's so much that goes down, and we certainly appreciate you spending some time to talk with us. And of course, you can read Eric's stuff up on NFL.com. Eric, thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Pleasure's mine. Have me on anytime. I appreciate it.